Hello there. In this video, we are talking about coaching questions that will make more money for you and for your clients. Now, before we get into the video, I want to remind you that this is no get-rich-quick scheme. I'm not going to give you some hack or some strategy that will make you money tomorrow. This is not a place where you figure out your GameStop stock. I'm sharing with you some time-tested questions, self-reflection exercises that you could do for yourself or could suggest to your clients that will help them make more money in their life overall. Now, before I share with you a question, let me tell you something that will make you more money. Hit that red subscribe button, because as soon as you hit that red subscribe button, you will get a notification every single week as I release new videos. These videos will inform you of many great coaching questions, coaching strategies, business strategies for coaches, which in turn, on the short term and on the long term, are very likely to help you make more money as an individual, as a coach. So go ahead and hit that red subscribe button and let's get it started. As a coach, you may find yourself often in a bind where a client has mindset issues around money and abundance. This is usually carried forward from our past experiences in our life, where we may have had some negative experience, or somebody taking money away from us, or us losing a lot of money because of some kind of business activity that we did, or us investing in something and then losing a bunch of money to that. A lot of our financial programming also comes from our childhood. So if our parents were somebody who was always struggling to find money, if they were somebody who were always trying to see how to save the next buck or make the next buck, if they were always telling you that they didn't have enough money to take care of your needs, you may find yourself in a bind where you thought there was not enough money to go around, or that there is not enough abundance that you could have as an individual because you always grew up in lack of it. This is the kind of story that I grew up with. When I grew up, while my family was abundant with love, they were not so abundant when it came to money. And because of that, a lot of times I would be wearing oversized jackets that would last me 3 to 5 years. I would be wearing pants that my brother wore, or shoes that were not necessarily the latest and the greatest. I always believed that I will only be able to afford secondhand things because I always got only secondhand things. And that belief limited me for a really long time to be able to create the abundance of money that I'm fortunate to have today. Which is why I'm going to share these questions with you, because I know some of you may have grown up in the way I grew up, or may have borrowed some of the mindsets that you really don't require now in your life. I truly believe that all of us can be abundantly rich. All of us can be very, very wealthy. All of us can have all the things that we truly want. Not want because somebody else, but what we truly, truly want. There's enough resources in the world, enough technology, advancement, and spiritual connection that we have, that we can have all the money we need to feel fulfilled and joyous in our lives. So, without further ado, let me give you those questions that you can, like I said, ask yourself or even your clients to be able to change their money mindset and create more money in their life. One of the most profound questions that I was ever asked, and I thought was one of the biggest turns that happened in how I approached money and how I thought about wealth creation, was this question: how can you make your annual income your monthly income? This question was given to me from a program I was taking at a very young age. This program helped me really transform how I thought about money. You see, most of us, when we're in jobs or we're in some sort of career, think that our annual income is capped. Like if we have a job, especially if we are in a career option, we think whatever salary we get that year is the salary that we get. We believe that we will get a 5 or 10% raise every year, maybe 20% raise on every year if we were really, really lucky. That would help us keep accelerating our career. And so in 30 years or 40 years, we would finally be wealthy. When you ask yourself the question, how can I make my annual income, my monthly income, it changes your paradigm. When I started asking that question to myself, when I started to wonder, what do I need to do? Who do I need to be generating my annual income as my monthly income? It changed the way I approached my career. At the time, I was employed as an intern with Mindvalley. Mindvalley is a personal transformation company who are also business partners with EverCoach. But when I started with Mindvalley, I was an intern. But my curiosity about making my annual income, my monthly income, changed the way I approached my job on a daily basis. It changed the way the work that I would do. It changed the way how I started to look for white spaces. White spaces are areas that usually in a company nobody really cares for, but it really bothers the bottom line of the company. And because I constantly upgraded myself to fill those white spaces, in time, I was able to become the CTO of Mindvalley, co-founder in many different companies that Mindvalley started. I built a webinar platform on the side and sold it. I was able to build other startups in partnership with Mindvalley while I was employed with Mindvalley. I was able to go from CTO to CMO to CEO of the company in a fairly short amount of time. And that happened because I was constantly wondering, how can I make my annual income my monthly income? The acceleration of income I had in those years was massive, unheard of, and changed the game for me, and of course, changed the game for the company as well. The second question that I want you to ask yourself, and also your clients, especially if they are in business, is how much revenue and profit you want to make this year. What I've found after working with tons of businesses is that most of the businesses don't actually set themselves up for a great year this year or next year. Most of the companies are very reactive in their approach of how they will pace themselves for next year. So like how I was talking about how people think about their careers, they think they will get an average of 5%, 10% raise year on year, and that would make them feel really good. That's kind of how companies operate as well. Most companies think 20-25% growth would be amazing, and that would be unheard of, and they would love to have that growth. The challenge with that question is that it sets up a ceiling based on random numbers that have been presented through different research formats. The reason why we stick to 20-25% growth year on year is because very often we believe that's how industries and businesses grow. And that data is largely collected by a lot of information that is across the globe. It does not account for your industry. It does not account for your personal drive. It does not account for what is your product that is involved. And because of those variables, it gives you a ceiling that is a bullshit ceiling. There is no reason for you to believe that you can only grow by 20-25% annually. You could grow by 100-200% annually if you chose to do so. Which is why it is very important for you as a coach and very important for your client to write down what is it that they want to achieve as revenue for the company and be intentional about it. And not only write about the revenue of the company, but the profit of the company. The reason why the revenue number and profit number is so important is because it gives focus and attention to you and your clients to look at a number and chase that number. Without a focus number on revenue and profit, all you're chasing is the activity of the day. While that may seem productive, it actually is not progressive. It doesn't help you get to the number that you truly deserve to get to. Writing that number down gives direction to the strategy, to the company, and gives energy and focus towards achieving those numbers, which is why you must write down your revenue and profit numbers. So the third question I have for you is, how do you act, or what action do you take when you feel a lack of money? See, we all have a relationship with money, and our real relationship with money is mostly represented in how we act when we don't have any, or how we act when we feel a lack of money. When you have lack of money, what happens in your nervous system? What happens to your body? What happens to your psychology? What happens to your emotional body is an important observation to have. Because when you observe your behavior emotionally, psychologically, in your body, as you're experiencing lack, you'll understand what you really believe about money. Do you believe there is abundance of money? Do you feel there is lack of money? Do you feel you will never get money? Do you feel there is so much money, it's just a matter of time? You will be able to realize that your body, your psychology, your emotions, your actions will reflect how you are really feeling about the lack of money that you have. And once you understand that, once you understand, oh, when I have lack of money, I go into flight or fight, and actually I go into flight. That will inform you why you may be finding yourself back in the situation of lack of money, because you're running away from the situation. And as you run away from the situation, you take less action, you take more emotional toll, psychological toll, body, physical toll. And because all these things that start to take on your body and take on your psychology and emotions, you find yourself in a situation where you cannot create progress, where you cannot create and get yourself out of that situation. So once you have understood how is your relationship when you are experiencing a lack of money, now we want to find a counter relationship that will help you create progress. So if you or your clients are struggling to be able to create abundance in their lives or create money in their lives, I really invite you to look at your relationship with money when you're experiencing lack of it, because that will really inform how you need to change your behavior so you can create positive momentum in your life. As a follow-up question, when you are experiencing the lack of money and you're taking the actions that you take when you experience lack of money, I invite you to also ask yourself is if those actions were useful for your future. A lot of the actions that we take when we are experiencing lack of money are so short term because we are experiencing the lack that we forget that over a long period of time, those short term actions are actually more hurtful. And hence, you want to ask yourself if the actions that you're about to take because of a temporary lack of feeling of money, are they really helping you on the long term? Because if they're not, maybe you want to reconsider your actions. Maybe your clients need to reconsider their action. The fourth question I have for you and your clients is, do you have a financial plan? You see, most people are reactive about money. How much do I have in the bank account? Oh, this is what I have in the bank account. This is how much I can spend. Oh, what is it that I really want? Oh, I want this. Let me go buy it because I have money in the bank. There is an eternal problem when you are approaching money in a reactive way because there is no plan for the future. And so let's say if you had some great months, you had 3 great months this year, and now you're going into the 4th month and the 4th month's not so good. 5th is not so good. 6th is not so good. 7th is not so good. 8th is not so good. You see how the first 3 months that went really well without a plan actually would not really help you carry over for the next 5 that didn't go so well? And that's why you need a financial plan. A financial plan is a plan of your income, your expenses, your savings, your emergency fund, and all these different variables that will allow you as a person or as a company to thrive despite the financial circumstances around you. There must be rules that you put in place that allows you to not only create short-term abundance, but abundance for a long period of time. Abundance that will stay with you forever and ever. Creating wealth or becoming financially abundant is not about making more money. It's about how you save your money, how you invest your money, how you grow your money even when you're not looking at it. It is a slower but a more long-term approach that gives you the yield for years and years to come, even if something on the short term doesn't really work out for you. Having a great financial plan is one of the most important things to have to create abundance and wealth and money in your life. The last question I have for you is, how would you feel if you already achieved your financial goal? If I was to transmute you into the future, who would you be and how would you feel as you were achieving your goal? See, the reason why we do this future-based exercise is because it does 2 very important things. Firstly, it makes you realize how amazing it will be to actually get those financial goals, what you would be doing, how you would be doing, how would your lifestyle change, and that creates more vision and creates more passion in you to really be chasing after the goals that you want to create in your life. A lot of us think about big financial numbers and say, yeah, that's where I will have that much money. But we don't have a direct emotional attachment to it, a feeling attachment to it, because we don't understand it just yet. We don't understand. We have never taken the time to really write down what does it mean to have that money. Like if it's $1 million, what does it mean to have $1 million? What does it look like when you have $1 million in your bank account? Do you look happier? Do you do different things? What are those things that you do? And once you understand that and have invested some time in really writing it out, you would get the true feeling. It's also important to write the second part of the question, which is, who is it that you will become to be able to achieve that goal? You see, money is directly proportional to who you are as a person. If you don't care about money, money doesn't come to you. If you care about money, money comes to you. If there's a certain quality that is required for that person to be that abundant, if you don't have that quality, money's not going to come to you. But if you have that quality, if you develop that quality, money will come to you. So say a year from now, you have all that money that you wanted to have this year. What would you feel? How would you feel as you have that money in your bank account or in your savings account or whatever that is that you choose to have? Write that down. And right below that, write down who is the person that would have that money. What would be the skills you would have? What would the qualities that you have? What would the network that you have? What is the friendships that you have? How is it that you feel emotionally? How do you regulate your emotions? How do you regulate your biology? How do you regulate your psychology? And what does your spirituality look like? The reason these questions are important is as you will write them down, you'll realize one of 2 things. Firstly, you may realize that you already have all of it, which means it's just a matter of time and you need to just do the work. And that is fine because there's a short time delay between your expectation and outcome, and that will happen. Or you may realize there's a gap between the person that truly deserves to make that money and have that money and your stage right now, which means that you need to make that journey. You need to bring your biology to that, your mindset to that, your psychology to that, your emotional well-being to that. And once you work on all of that comprehensively, you will find yourself getting to that goal, that money, that amount, much more quicker, much more faster. Thank you so much for watching this video. I do have another invitation for you though. You see, recently we've created something that's called Certified Business Coach. It is our 4-month-long program where we work with you to certify you as a business coach, and we also give you skills to become a life coach. If you've enjoyed my trainings, you would really love Certified Business Coach. This certification is open for enrollment right now. There's a link on this video notes before. Go ahead, click that link, get more information, and I hope you will join me in Certified Business Coach. If you have loved this video and you feel these questions are going to be important to you or your clients, hit that like button. We really appreciate when you like and comment our videos because we know we are doing a great job. And share this video with somebody that you think can benefit from it. Thank you for watching. This is Ajit Nawalkar, and you're watching this on EverCoach.